Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Bolt Action Reloading. In today's video, we're going to unbox and review the Lyman electronic digital trigger pull gauge. Stick around. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here and you'd like to see how I and the rest of the community here make our group smaller, start now by subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon. That way you get notified when I post new videos and you won't miss anything. Guys, for today's video, we're going to be going over an item that I have thought about purchasing several times, and I just kept finding excuses to put it off. The nice folks at Lyman actually had reached out to me and asked if there was any particular equipment that I would like to try out on the channel, and this is one of the first things that came to mind. We're going to unbox it in just a second, but first, let's go over exactly the thought process of why I thought it was interesting and why I think you might think about picking one up as well. At first, this tool is not extremely expensive. At the time of this video, I've had no trouble finding it retailing for under $50, which isn't nothing, but it does provide us some interesting data when we are making changes or adjustments to our rifles. Let's get this tool unboxed, take a look at what we have in the package, see how we use it, and see why you might want to think about picking one up for yourself. To make this go a little smoothly, I've trimmed around the outside plastic package so we don't have to fight with the plastic packaging, but essentially this is exactly how it looks. Minus fighting the packaging, you get out, we have a nicely boxed tool, and the backing plate, which has some information on it. Unboxing our trigger pull gauge, we can take a quick look at the back. I'll put a better shot on your screen, but you can see a couple different features that this tool talks about. We'll go over all the specs in just a minute. Let's finish unboxing our tool. You can see we have a nice case, as well as a foam insert. Take the foam out, and there's our directions for all of those who'd like to read them. Let's put our foam back in, set our tool back in here. I'll take a quick peek at our directions and then we'll come right back. The only other thing that we really needed to do was take the battery cover off and remove the plastic from our batteries. Putting those back in the proper direction, sealing it up, and I believe that our unit is ready to go. Guys, right on the packaging here, we can see that Lyman is touting the world's most accurate trigger pull gauge. Let's go into the feature set a little bit, talk about why they say that, see what this thing can actually do. Now guys, one of my favorite features of this is it actually comes in a case. This isn't a tool necessarily we're not probably going to use every single day, but it's nice to have a case for it to know that it's protected when we want to store it, and it's still going to work correctly the next time we want to use it. Let's face it, it's not every day that our tools actually come with nice cases to keep dust off it, and as well as keep other stuff from damaging it. I think it's a nice add to our tool, and hopefully it's going to keep it working for a very long time. For the specifications for our trigger pull gauge, we can see if we're looking on the package that we're going to be able to measure anywhere from 1 ounce to 12 pounds or from 3 grams to 5.4 kilograms. And depending on what measuring range we're in is depending on what we can resolve. From 0 to 5 pounds, our resolution is going to be plus or minus 0.1 ounce. If we're from 5 to 12 pounds, our resolution will be increasing to plus or minus 0.5 ounces. If you feel like translating that to the metric system, you can obviously see the spec sheet in front of you. One of the interesting features of our trigger pull gauge is the fact that it locks in at every 90-degree setting to make it convenient, so no matter what trigger we're dealing with, our hand position can always be convenient. So our actual device is not going to be getting in the way. The back of our sheet is telling us it's going to be accurate to plus or minus 1/10 of an ounce or 2 grams. Hopefully you can see it on your screen. It actually has a nice roller, so the roller is going to help us self-center on the face of our trigger. As you can see, we have an average button, so we can actually average the last 10 readings if we like. Turning it on, we can see we have an easy-to-read display. We also have a switch to switch it from pounds to grams. They're claiming this is 20 times more accurate than common spring gauges. Displays our exact trigger pull weight, which we're going to show here in just a second, and should work with almost any rifle, shotgun, or handgun. So guys, now that we've gone over all the features, let's do a couple readings, talk a little bit about what type of interesting data can we collect with our trigger pull gauge. So guys, for the purpose of today's demonstration, we can easily see that we have no ammunition in our handgun, and we should be safe to do some trigger pull testing. So some of you may be familiar with a SIG. This actually has a single action, double action trigger. So we're going to have a single action pull, which is going to be far less than if our hammer was forward, which will be our double action. And this is a good example of something you might actually have an aftermarket trigger in. I know that the stock trigger was replaced on this with the SIG SRT trigger, and so that's going to have slightly different values today. So before and after would have given us slightly different values, especially should we have been able to measure them. For example, for our double action pull strength, we'll make our unit ready, take a quick reading, do a quick trigger pull. 7 pounds, 5.9 ounces. Do another. 7 pounds, 9.2 ounces. Do another. 7 pounds, 5.9 ounces. So if you feel like averaging those, you can hit the average button, and it'll tell you our average is 7 pounds, 7.0 ounces. Don't think you guys want to go through 10 readings, so let's just see the difference kind of between the single action value. So we'll set our hammer, reset our unit, make it ready. £3 pounds, 13.2 ounces. Pull our hammer back again. £3 pounds, 13.5 ounces. £3 pounds, 14.6 ounces. Again, if we felt like averaging those, 3 pounds, 14.1 ounces was our average. So we can obviously see the significant difference with the trigger pull weight from single action to double action on our pistol. If we were able to get this data before the trigger was changed, we would know exactly how much the trigger pull weight had changed when we changed the trigger. Same as before, we've already checked to see that our rifle is clear. In case you're not familiar, this is a Ruger Precision Rifle, chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, but that doesn't matter for today's testing. But this actually has an adjustable trigger. So having the adjustable trigger pull weight on here, depending on what you want to have it set at, if you change your setting and you don't like it and you want to go back to what you had it previously, with something like our trigger pull gauge, we should be able to make a small adjustment and actually see it on our trigger pull gauge. Something that people might be concerned with is this has one of the internal trigger safeties on it, so that has to be depressed before the trigger can go off. That's going to be no problem for our trigger pull tester. We're going to center our sliding wheel right on that. So we'll do a trigger pull weight. Center. £1 pound, 11.9 ounces. Take another reading. £1 pound, 12.7 ounces. Reset it again. £1 pound, 13.5 ounces. Averaging out to £1 pound, 12.7 ounces. On our adjustable trigger, if we wanted to make that a little bit heavier, we could screw in our adjustment, make it a little heavier, or I think this is honestly pretty close to the bottom of what this is adjustable for, but you could certainly move it around, be able to get it back to a setting that you knew that you previously liked with your trigger pull gauge and not have to worry about losing that setting. Now guys, this might seem like an unlikely candidate, but this is a Thompson Center Compass chambered 300 Winchester Magnum, not like that matters. This is a relatively cheap rifle that they do have several aftermarket parts for, and one of the aftermarket parts by M Carbo is actually a trigger spring kit. If I can find a shot, I'll put it up. But this comes with a trigger spring kit to change out the springs. We're not going to tell you how to do that, but there's plenty of other instructional videos that would show you how. But one of the things that would be important to me is knowing what my trigger spring values were, and having that number might help you decide what you feel comfortable with using. For this example, this actually comes with two different springs. One, they specifically say for bench rest shooting only, and another one for hunting use. The specific one here is the bench rest only version. If you guys wanted to see what the M Carbo kit for this particular rifle is, we can see our rifle is clear as always. We'll clear out our previous values, make this ready to test, place it on our trigger in the center, roll back, and we can see that we actually got down to 2.89 ounces. Reset our trigger and take another. £3 pounds, 0.3 ounces. Take one more. Reset it. £3 pounds, 1.8 ounces. So we can see, I believe the lowest setting that you could get this from the factory is somewhere around 6 pounds. Our average was actually 2 pounds, 14.3 ounces. Let's clean off our bench real quick, and we'll be right back. So guys, real quick and dirty, that is the Lyman electronic digital pull gauge. If you've got an adjustable trigger on your rifle and you want to be able to see what your setting's at, get back to a setting, honestly, see if you think your trigger weight is too heavy or to help you troubleshoot a problem with your rifle. I think there's a lot of different reasons why this could be an interesting tool to have in your toolbox, and I'm grateful for the guys at Lyman for sending this out, so I know I'll be using it more here on the channel. If you guys are thinking of picking one of these up, I'm going to put an affiliate link in the description box below. If you guys pick one of these up from one of those links, I'll get a small portion of the sale, which helps support the channel and helps us provide more content like this. If you have any questions, please put those in the comment section below. Big thank you to the guys at Lyman for sending this out for us to review. But even if you're not going to adjust your trigger pull weight, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any comments or questions, please put those in the comments section below. If you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the bell icon so you get notified when I post next week's video. I hope to see you back next week. And until then, stay safe in small groups.